As some of you may know, our family was in litigation with Westtown School, head of school John Baird, and upper school principal Ted Lucas for over a year related to our experience at Westtown. Unfortunately, we learned the hard way. There is much many of us do not know about Westtown School. Here are just a few of the things that we have learned. We asked our daughter how anyone thought they could get away with drinking, especially on campus. Her response was something we never wanted to hear as the parent of a boarding student. Dad, they never checked on us. Unfortunately, the evidence shows this to be true. As you will see from the following testimony, it is our opinion that the school does not adequately check on students to determine their locations when signed out to leave campus. We also believe the supervision of students at night is inadequate. The statistics are abundantly clear as to what happens to teenage children if not properly monitored during their hours outside of the classroom at night. Drinking, drug use, inappropriate sexual behavior, and other risky incidents may be the result of failing to provide adequate supervision of the students. Westtown concedes that they have no written policy regarding safety and security of students at night. In practice, virtually the only form of security at the school after lights out consists of one guard to monitor and secure the campus grounds and in his spare time monitor over 300 students. We do not believe this level of security is sufficient to protect the students in campus from external threats, and it provides virtually no supervision for the children, leaving the campus open to possible drug use, alcohol use, and other unsupervised activities.
Second area about the security issue. After lights out for the kids, who is in charge of physically securing the campus?
Objection to the form, you can answer.
There's an overnight physically securing the campus, as in locking doors and that sort of thing?
Two areas. Do you have a security guard who
Yes.
monitors the campus to make sure nobody comes onto the campus?
Yes.
Okay. And how many people at night are in charge of the security for making sure nobody comes onto the campus?
There's one person who is on duty overnight.
Okay. And that's for the entire campus?
It is. Westtown has an open campus. They're not guard booths or anything at the gates.
So there is one person at night in charge of the physical security of the campus?
Correct.
And you don't know what their backgrounds are, who these people are?
I know them because I know who they are in that I've had interactions with them. We talk. I know them a little bit, but I don't know. I can't attest to what their security credentials are.
Okay. Now, outside of securing the campus from outsiders, during the night, who is in charge of the internal security in the campus?
There's a degree to which some of that falls to an overnight security person who, in addition to making rounds outside of buildings, will also do rounds in buildings after securing all the buildings. Will pass through spaces in the buildings.
Is that single security person will
This
be
is
in
that
charge
single
of the
security
outside
person.
of the buildings, and then also occasionally taking a pass through the inside of the buildings?
Yes, I don't know exactly what his route is and how much it varies, but yes, he would also pass through. There are also dorm faculty who are on duty and are generally present in the dorms, but not awake and out there on the halls all night.
But outside of the single security guard, once these people who live in houses attached to the dorms have gone to bed, there is no formal system at Westtown for monitoring the kids' activities at night.
Other than that which I've already described. Correct.
Okay. So other than what you've already described, the single security guard and the people who live attached to the dorms who then go to bed, there's no formal system for monitoring what the kids do at night.
Objection, you may answer.
If you want a few more details, some of the things that the security guard will often do is pass along to
I've
the
already thrown in the
deans.
security guard. You've got one single security guard. Outside of the security guard
Yes.
and the people who then go to sleep, who live in places attached to the dorms, is there any other formal system of supervision for the students who are at Westtown at night?
You asked about system, and that's what I was going to answer, because one of the ways that often the overnight security folks and dorm parents will work together is that an overnight security person, while doing rounds of the building, will sometimes, if he's been seeing a number of lights on, will mark room charts with lights that have been on to pass those along to dorm folks so they can follow up with those folks. That's not an in-the-moment follow-up.
So in addition to the outside security of Westtown itself, that security person at night is in charge of keeping an eye on the roughly 300 students who are boarding students.
His primary responsibility is to, as I understand it, to, in essence, preserve the integrity of the locked buildings and keeping people out of those buildings. Since he is awake and walking through, yes, we benefit from his eyes, and his are the only eyes consistently walking around.
And at night, is there any written policy regarding how the students are monitored at night, the boarding students?
Objection on the form. You may answer.
No, there's no written.
And is there any particular practice that you're aware of that says, student or teacher X is going to check on the students at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock, anything like that?
Objection to the form. You may answer.
There's a practice on weekends of sometimes late night checks at 1. Not sometimes, at 1, consistently.
And that's Fridays and Saturdays?
Yes.
Okay. And how about during the week?
During the week, no. Teachers are, they're on the hall mostly in that if you hear anything, you should look for it, see
Okay.
what's going on.
And the teachers who are on the hall, after they go to bed, is there any policy regarding who checks on the students?
Objection to the form. You may answer.
Did you say written? Written. No, there's no written. I don't know what the night watchmen's, there might be written instructions for them.
Okay. Are you aware of any sitting here right now?
No.
And since this incident, has there been any effort to change either the written policies or the practices of Westtown School regarding monitoring the kids during the week at night?
Objection to the form. You may answer.
This heightened our conversations about being more aware.
Okay. But has there been any change in the actual practice and procedures of the school?
Same
No.
objection. You may answer.
Not formally.
Do you have written policies anywhere at Westtown School that cover the security of the students?
Check the form. Go ahead, John.
A lot of this is conveyed in meetings with the dorm heads and the dorm parents in the upper school faculty meetings. So I'm not sure to what extent this is part of a written policy, but it is part of a clear procedure in the orientation process for adult members of the community.
Okay. Are you aware of any written policy regarding security at the school? Sitting here right now, are you aware of a piece of paper that says, here are the policies of the school regarding security of the students at night?
No.
Okay.
If no written policies and procedures cover the safety and security of approximately 300 boarding students, how do you effectively train those responsible for our children's welfare each and every year? We have made these safety and security issues known to the administration and clerk of the board several times over the last 16 months. We have suggested specific changes. The school has refused to implement these changes. Nothing appears to have changed. As parents who care not only for our children but all the students, we thought you should know.